I still have a dream.
Yeah.
It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream.
Welcome, everybody. Here we go. Happy Monday, and it is Martin Luther King Day. Welcome, Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in glorious downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on the Facebook, on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. I had to restart the video. We got bumped for the playing that U2 song. It still happens once in a while, so just had to restart that. But you can stream the show there, of course, and on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, if I didn't mention that, in addition to 95.3 on the FM dial, and, of course, WMNHradio.org. And you can also go to mattconnarton.com and grab the live feed there. And I am not alone, my friends. Jenny is at the news desk.
I am.
Yes.
Trying to reshare things.
Yes. Yeah, that still happens once in a while. The Facebook, they get, what are you going to do? What's that?
I'm not surprised with the U2 song.
Yeah, well, what usually happens is, for those who don't know, Facebook doesn't like it when you stream out copyrighted music, but we are obviously a federally licensed FM terrestrial radio station. So what happens is we have to do this dance where Facebook will block the video, and then I will get a notification from Facebook saying that I can appeal them blocking the video. So then I do that, and then I appeal it, and then they unblock the video after the fact. So it does end up appearing on Facebook. The good thing is, because, you might say, well, Matt, why do you keep trying to do that when these videos keep getting blocked? But the thing is, over time, Facebook, if you appeal them enough, Facebook kind of gives up and says, okay, well, you're from a radio station, we'll let you do this. But every once in a while, we still get flagged. So, and then we just have to go. I
think it's a bot.
Go through and appeal it. It is. It's definitely a bot. And we have our first call of the week. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Ridley.
Dave Ridley. How are you?
Ever changing yet ever the same, just like the ocean.
Oh, I hadn't thought about it. You know what? I got to tell you, Dave, I think that's deep.
Yeah, that was fast.
Deep as the ocean.
Oh, no. Jeez.
Do you write poetry, Dave Ridley? Because you should.
Well, more like songs.
Oh, that's right. I forget that you're a musician. Do you have anything new?
No, there's no money in it. I don't do much. But I mean, I could sing you my alternate version of the national anthem or the alternate Pledge of Allegiance or any of that. That tends to get people kind of riled up when they hear those. I can sing them for you if you want.
Nah, we'll skip it for today, Dave Ridley. What's on your mind, my friend?
So, news from the State House here in New Hampshire. I've been kind of lax lately on keeping track of the bills, but I saw one recently that caught my eye, and I thought you might find interesting. It is, I'm trying to pull it up here. Well, there are two. The first one would make the state vaccine registry an opt-in program.
But isn't it opt-in anyway? I mean, maybe. Let's start with this. What is the state vaccine registry exactly?
Well, I don't know much more other than what it's called. I mean, they keep trying to keep track of who's got what vaccinations, obviously.
Oh.
And there's been some controversy around it lately. And I don't think they'd be making a bill to make it opt-in if it was already opt-in. But maybe it's possible that it's already opt-in and they're trying to make a bill that keeps it opt-in. I don't know.
Shouldn't we actually wait and read the language and see how it works before passing a judgment?
Well, I'd like to. I can't. I'm trying to click on it. I haven't been able to see the text. It's
but dude,
like a
seriously, have more responsibility. I'm really disappointed. You're going to call in and you're going to go by the title of something? Really? You're better than that.
I just think it's interesting. I don't know the exact details or whether we should be in for it or against it. You can look it up if you want to know more about it.
I certainly would before I brought it up to the world.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we have a title that may or may not mean anything.
There's also one, I guess that would allow you to make your healthcare provider give you the ingredients of any vaccine that they administer, which obviously would be an intrusion into the doctor-patient relation, or like it would be forcing doctors to, there'd be another regulation on doctors, I guess.
Honestly, I think it's stupid. Where's the problem?
We're
looking to fix,
I'm concerned about I'm sorry. I'm also concerned about it. It seems like, again, the spirit of the bill might be nice, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and more regulations on doctors from government would be at taxpayer expense.
True.
So the doctor would have to tell you the ingredients in the vaccine? That's what this is?
So, no, they don't want to just know it's tetanus. They want to know what's in with the tetanus. Is it got, what does it have in it? Because there is still, unfortunately, a large group of people out there that have this misnomer that, all vaccines are loaded with mercury. They're poisoning you. And and unfortunately, that misinformation leads to some poor choices.
Oh, okay.
So I think that in the spirit of it, they're trying to be open and tell people, here, this is what's in this particular shot. We can all do that. We can all read the box. We can all read the box of our medications and stuff. This is just more bureaucracy that will literally just cost people money. It's not even going to do a good thing. It's just going to cost money.
You can see how, in theory, it could be used against a government doctor to make a government doctor give you information about something he's trying to force down your throat.
What's a government doctor?
Yeah, that doesn't automatically automatically make it right. You wouldn't want to have a new regulation on all doctors just because it could be applied to the government doctors.
So you only want the Veterans Association doctors? Is that what you mean?
Well, if the bill is worded such that it only applies to government doctors, I guess that would be different, and they would own.
What's a government doctor?
Pardon?
What's a government doctor?
What is a government doctor? Well, I guess like if you were incarcerated or whatnot, and the doctor at the medical facility was trying to force something down your throat or whatnot.
Okay.
I still don't understand what I still don't. I really don't. I'm really not. I'm not trying to be rude or jerky or anything with you. I really do not understand what is a government doctor.
Well, I think he just means like a doctor that works, if a doctor who works at a correctional facility or a doctor who works for the VA, obviously would be a medical,
VA
would be a government
federal
doctor.
government. The nursing, the Veterans Administration home would be federal government. The incarceration for the state would be, if it was a state prison, that's the state. These aren't all the state. This is not. It's not like there's a registry of all these doctors. They're different, and they all have different ruling authorities, and then they all answer to the medical board of the state. So, I mean, I think it's just such a general statement. It doesn't really give you an accuracy of what doctors. If they're trying to change it for everybody across the board, like if they mean government doctor to mean if you've got a DEA number, then they're trying. Then their intent is to grab every single shot that comes out of a doctor's office.
Oh. Well,
because somehow you're going to read those ingredients and be able to make a determination on whether or not you want to get the shot right then and there.
Well, does every doctor have a DEA number? Because every doctor... No, not all doctors not all have prescribing authority. Oh, I didn't realize
Depends
that.
on the provider that you're in front of. Most average doctors, like your primary, have a DEA number. They can prescribe controlled medications.
Yeah.
But if you're a naturopath, for example, you can prescribe a antibiotic if you wanted to go that way, just as an example. But you cannot prescribe a controlled drug.
Okay.
So, and then, then you get an even deeper pool, because then you get your nurse practitioners that operate under the doctor's license and what they can prescribe. Not every prescriber is identical.
All right.
There also is Kevin Avard is proposing a bill to establish a committee to study the effects of COVID-19 lockdowns.
Yeah.
That's going to be something that we are going to need to look at as a society. There's no diagnosis. Like, look at I'm sure you agree with this with Dave, like the medical people. Burnout is not an acceptable term for what they're going through right now. This is not burnout in the way that you would assume. This is a new category. This is a new category of PTSD. People in the medical community are seeing dead bodies in a way that they've never seen before, and in an amount they've never seen before. We have people on average just having to be stuck at home. There are going to be a lot of people. We all are going to need help to get through this together.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think that that's a bad thing to want to. Do you think that's a good thing to have that then?
The committee?
Yeah.
Well, I officially do not support any bill, in a sense, unless the sponsor reimburses taxpayers for the expense of hearing it.
All righty, and with that, I've got nothing left for you. Nope.
All right. When you ask.
My mistake.
All right, Dave Ridley. Well, anything else on your mind?
That is all.
All right, my friend. Thank you for the call. Please give the Ridley Report a plug before you go.
RidleyReport.com. I used to ambush interview state reps at the State House.
I have an idea. What is there a way you can still do that using Zoom? Like, do you need to, or do you need to be a hacker to like hack in? That would be interesting. Can you hack into some of these Zoom calls with state reps?
I'd have to be a hacker to keep them from cutting me off, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, just something to think about. Maybe you can learn coding. I don't know. All right, Dave Ridley. All right. Thanks for the call, my friend. Take care.
You're welcome for the call.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Dave Ridley of the Ridley Report. All right.
There are moments when all I can do is just kind of shake my head. I have no idea why this is acceptable and that is acceptable. But, it works the opposite way in my brain these days, I think, sometimes.
Some of these things that these bills, when Dave calls about them, I find myself kind of just shrugging. I
am upset with people who want to speak about legislation that haven't read it.
Right.
You got to read. You got to do it. Read the bill.
We have another call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Tony D.
Tony D from Philadelphia. How are you, my friend?
You like my ninja?
I didn't know what was going on there. I thought maybe that was Al Pacino from Scent of a Woman. I didn't know what was happening.
I thought he was playing a game.
That's what
Oh, maybe.
I've been doing that lately. Like when I call someone,
Yeah.
ninja.
And how do people generally react? Are they startled? Are they confused? Do they prepare for battle?
Usually get like, you all right? Or what was that?
Kind
Right.
of sounds like you're hurling.
Yeah, or having a stroke or something. Yeah.
I can do the.
That's even more confusing.
How are things down your way? How's your capital?
Good. I don't know how the Capitol is. I know that I went past Capitol's a little ways out. City Hall is like guarded like crazy. It's weird looking. Not normal. I mean, they got National Guardsmen down there and state police and stuff like that. I don't really think they're anticipating anything. I had a really interesting conversation yesterday with my buddy, and like, he's a little worried. I think that everyone's starting to get that little bit of worriness now because it's coming up. I said, look, here's what's going to happen, dude. I said, it's either going to happen or it's not. I said, so there's no in between here. I said, either they're going to uprise and they're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to lose miserably because you're going up against something that's you're not going to defeat the United States military. You're just not going to do it.
Right.
And
right.
then we're going to be looked at as a laughing stock after this because the whole world is watching us on Wednesday. The whole world.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you know, President Trump wants this red carpet, military send-off,
21 gun salute.
Oh yeah.
All this
Red
craziness
carpet?
while people are going to be at the White House with guns and
Oh, we only did
bulletproof
red carpets
vests
for
and ballistic
kings and
shields
queens
and all this stuff, and you want to send off. You know what? Send this.
How warm and fuzzy are people feeling in the military about all of that anyway when they saw what happened? You know, so much for that whole thin blue line thing, you know?
Didn't they say no, you're not getting that? Is that right? Or is that fake news?
Yeah, I thought we were talking about it earlier. It looks like to me, just from Googling it, that the Pentagon said no. There's going to be something, right, Jenny? You were looking it up,
Yeah,
but it's not.
But they said no to some of what he wanted.
Yeah,
like he's not getting
a whole parade.
He's not getting the flyover.
I think they should.
It's not going to be on the White House lawn. He's being removed from the White House by Marine One.
I think they should let him have the red carpet. Have him and Melania.
He is.
Him and Melania. They can walk down the red carpet and have a military band. I don't know why this is in my head, but I just think it would work.
They're giving him that, though.
Have a military band play the Entertainment Tonight theme as they're leaving the White House. I just think that would work perfectly.
You know what they should do? They should give him a foam tray with a carton of milk and a bologna sandwich and say, "Get used to it."
Ooh, I like that idea.
They wouldn't even know what to do with the sandwich. They probably don't even know what that looks like. What is that thing? What is that? Why do I have a flat roll?
What is this? It has crust on it. It has crust on it.
No, they should buy him a Happy Meal.
Supposedly, they're flying him to Andrews. He's getting his red carpet. He's getting his band and a little bit of a whatever. But
what about the football?
The football's still going to be with him, and it will be with him as he flies down to Florida. But then his codes will be deactivated.
Yeah, apparently.
And there is a second football that will just magically. Well, there's another one that's going to be ready to go with its codes that's going to appear behind President Biden.
Yeah, because
so he's stealing the plane.
No. They're not letting. He doesn't have Air Force One. He doesn't get to have that. That is at the disposal of President Biden. He does get to take Marine One over to Andrews, and I don't know how they're flying him to Florida, but it's not on Air Force One.
Oh, you know what's happening. The kids are coming down in the Trump plane, and they're going to take him down. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, probably.
He's
got to
go
all
back
have their
to
little
Gold
pity
Teeth.
party.
Oh, you telling me I can't get KFC on this thing?
Now, where's he at today, President Trump? What's he doing today?
I assume he's on the golf course.
Ready for the 50 pardons.
Oh, that's right.
Between the 50 and 100 pardons, and one of them is Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne, the rapper.
He's pardoning Lil Wayne?
Joe Exotic is supposed to get pardoned also.
And
Joe Exotic's going to get out of jail.
They got over $10,000 a head practically going on the lobbyists who are getting paid. Instead of it going through a process as it has throughout history, you're now having to deal and negotiate directly with the White House, the president, for your pardon. So if you're rich enough, you can get a lobbyist in there you got a shot. But if you're some poor schmuck who got picked up on a pot charge in a state that's now legal, but it was a federal charge or something, you're screwed.
Yeah,
it's not
supposedly
happening.
Joe Exotic is using all that money from the Netflix series to get out. And
Wow.
to get out.
It's very possible.
Yeah, Giuliani, I saw a story is paying like $2 million for his pardon, and it's pretty open, the bribery. It's we've never seen anything quite so brazen and blatant.
Everybody's reporting on the lobbyists that are up there and how much money they're getting paid and who they're lobbying for.
It's incredible.
And now it's all people who are like rappers and stuff like that. It's not like criminals who got, who are in jail for huge charge, or like when Obama left, he did about 350 pardon or commutations on his last day, and a large number of them went to people who got caught up in the minimum sentencing. Laws,
the mandatory minimums. Yeah.
Which I used to actually very much support, and again, something else that I've actually changed an opinion on. But that's because that's a tough one.
Unreal.
But yeah, that's where they went when Obama was in there. In fact, both the Bushes, a bunch of them, they tended to be people who, average Joe people who went through the whole there's a process in place. There's actually a division of government in place for this, but it's all just a wash now. Now it's just like, if you can pay enough to get in front of them.
And actually both the Bushes had some questionable ones, and Bill Clinton, of course, had one of the most questionable in history.
Not anymore.
The Mark Rich pardon, which he's never fully explained.
One pardon, though. One pardon.
Well, no, I'm sure there were some others, but
he's probably still trying to figure out how he can pardon himself without having to admit guilt. See, there's the thing: you can't get pardoned on something you haven't been found guilty for, or you don't admit guilt too. You have to admit to something to actually pardon.
Yeah, it's implicit in the pardoning, the admission of guilt.
It has to be something that you're being pardoned for. Specifically, they can't just say,
I do have good news.
Sprinkle dust, nobody gets hurt.
Oh, good news.
Sorry,
yes.
Good news?
Yes.
So the Department of Health got my note from work, and my vaccine was moved up to this Saturday at 5:15.
Oh, congratulations.
Excellent. Good job.
So all of us at the company are going between 12 o'clock Saturday and 5:15 to go get our vaccine. So,
and for those listening that don't know, you are in the medical profession, and you actually help to get things to medical patients at home. So that these are people that we need to keep on the roads and keep out there. Keep people like me out of hospitals and safe at home with all the supplies that we need.
I'm just grateful. I'm very grateful and very happy that they looked at us as someone that is kind of like out there going into people's homes like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that they weren't. I'm starting to get really bad anxiety with the way that it was just the way these cases are growing around us. Like, dude, like these numbers are just getting crazy. Like 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. Yeah. I'm starting to get worried now. Like I was worried before, but like the anxiety part of it didn't really start laying in until the second wave. And like I'm seeing 8,000 cases and the transmission rate is like 2.2 or whatever it is. And I'm like, this is getting crazy. So I started getting a little nervous, and like I started starting to use some of my personal time from work already at the beginning of the year, because some of the homes that I'm going into, like these patients already had COVID or they're just getting off COVID. I'm in there with like the respirator on and all this stuff, and I'm just like, I just want to get the vaccine. I just want to get started. And luckily enough, this morning, they contacted us via email, said that our whole company, everyone that's in the transportation side and transport side, that you can schedule your vaccine between this time and this time, and mine's at 5:15 on Saturday.
Excellent.
23rd.
My home nurse came to see me today, and she did get access to the vaccine, was finally vaccinated. But, we count on all you guys to go in and out of people's homes for everything, from medications to oxygen to dressing supplies. And that all keeps people out of the hospitals and out of the care centers.
Home renal care.
Okay, yeah, so you know that stuff, yeah.
So a lot of the patients that were there were inpatient at hospitals that are, they were in COVID units, because they actually turned the renal units into COVID units because of the beds. That's what they needed. So a lot of the people that were inpatient were now home dialysis patients. So anywho, Well, that's why I was calling. And once again, to President Trump, said this.
Well said. All right, Tony. Thank you for the call, my friend.
As in the words of Eazy-G, bye-bye.
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 All right, Tony D from Philadelphia, of course, host of the Tony D Show, as well as the It's All in Your Head show with our friend Christian Lacoste and Kiki Otto.
Yeah.
His other co-host on that show. So, well, that's great. So he's getting the vaccine Saturday.
That's excellent.
That
That's
is
good news.
awesome.
Good news.
That is awesome. Well, that by the way, something. Did you notice within the last 10 minutes something changed with the? Did everything suddenly start to sound different to you in your headphones?
No.
It might just be mine. Everything sounds weird and different all of a sudden. Like when
you?
It might be my headphones. It's not my tinnitus. I know that.
You want to try the ones over here?
No,
I have my own on.
All of a sudden, like, first I noticed you sounded different, and then I noticed I sounded
but
different.
You thought you heard a voice earlier. Are we sure you're okay?
That's true. Well,
I don't know. You started to make me nervous.
yeah. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, it's Eazy-G.
Eazy-G.
Oh, hello there, Eazy-G.
How are you, my friend?
Hey, I got a question there. I'm having trouble lately on my Facebook Messenger. People sending me like a video or a photo, and I can't receive it. Does that ever happen to you?
I would not. Well, if it's people you know, or who's sending you things?
Check your settings.
It's happened the last couple of days. I can't receive their video, or I can't receive their photo.
You try turning it all off and turning it on again?
Like an animal or something, or something funny.
I was going to say if it's people you don't know sending you things, best to leave those alone anyway. But I don't know. Maybe your phone just can't handle the.
Oh yeah, wait. Maybe he needs to just reload Messenger on his phone.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, maybe he needs a tablet. If only he had a tablet.
Well, yeah, that would help too, because then he'd have a second device he could check it for.
I've had this phone for a couple months now, but I've had some problems with it shutting off. So next time I go to the phone guy, I'll have to ask him why I can't receive these videos and funny photos.
You may just need to delete Messenger off your phone and then reinstall it from the store, and it'll probably fix whatever's going on.
By the way, your good friend Brian McKay in the Facebook live chat says you can only view them on your tablet, LOL.
You say McKay, I say Mackie.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got to go talk to that guy soon anyways.
Eazy-G says Mackie.
Did you receive my message about doing my report tomorrow?
You're going to go to Idaho to talk to Brian McKay?
That's an awful long
No,
trip.
I said, did you receive my message I said to you earlier, Matt, about doing my report tomorrow?
I didn't.
You do your report on Wednesdays.
Well, he wants to do it tomorrow, apparently.
Last week it was Thursday.
Wednesday.
I have
Wednesday
no structure.
You're going to have the big day
I need structure.
with the Joe Biden. So I didn't want to.
Well, this
I didn't
is
want
true.
to interrupt that big day, his inauguration day.
I know. I'm actually looking forward to this. I have never looked forward the way that I am right now.
I see your message, Eric. Yes, that's fine. You can do your entertainment report tomorrow.
All right, I'll do it tomorrow around 5:00. So
I'll
talk to you then.
I am. I'm very nice.
I'll keep my information. I sent you a message about the wrestling, but I'll keep that information for tomorrow.
Yes.
There you
go. Famous words of Peter White. Save it for the radio.
All right, sounds
famous
good.
Last
All right,
talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.
All right, bye
bye.
All right, Eazy-G Eric Agnon. He'll be calling in with his entertainment report tomorrow, which means I'll be quivering with anticipation as always for that. So very nice. No,
Mackie, Mackay.
No, it's Mackie. The joke is
Mackay.
Eazy-G pronounces it McKay for some reason.
I said McKay too.
No, you said
I said Mackie. M-A-C-K-E-Y.
Mackie. Right, it's Brian Mackie.
Mackie.
Yeah, Eazy-G pronounces it McKay. I don't know why.
Like mac and cheese, Mackie.
Maybe if I bought him something, he'd pronounce my name wrong too.
But
I don't know.
When he spells it out to try and help you pronounce it, it looks like McKay. That must start calling him McKay. Hey, McKay.
Yeah.
No?
I'm confused.
Catch up.
Yeah.
What's going on in the world, Maddie? Anything? There's nothing really going on in the world, is there?
No. Let me
the rest of the world's looking at our country, waiting to see if we're going to blow up on Wednesday. Like, quite literally.
Yes.
People overseas are like, what's going on over there?
Well,
What's it like in America?
Let me give the numbers, 603-250-6007 if you'd like to call in, 603-250-6007. You can also text 617-917-4476. In fact, I have some text messages I just got on the text line from Mr. John Hopwood, who we haven't seen in a while.
Hoppy, call in.
You can also tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com. And if you go to mattconnerton.com and click Listen Now, Listen Live, it will show you all the contact info as well.
You can look around and try and find Unsheathed.
Oh, yes.
Isn't that in the secret spot?
Well, I can't tell people where to find that.
It's a sexy page.
It's only available on the dark web, and it is behind a paywall. John Hopwood sent only 32 and a half hours to go. that was at about 3:30 that he sent that to me.
That's awesome.
Yes.
We're down to hours now. We can do this. We're almost there. Cross the finish line.
He said, waiting for that ass to go has been like being stuck in emotional amber for me. I even stopped listening to your show. It makes me sick. And then in parentheses, he said, Trump, not you. In fact, I know I have heartburn really just writing this. I'll start doing my TV show again this week or next week. No, very good. So
understandable.
Yes. Well, he went all the way to New Mexico for a bit, I believe.
I don't blame him.
Yes. I
can't get to where I want to get to yet.
Right. Well, there you go. Well, let's catch up with everybody in the Facebook live chat. We do have a lot of peeps in there, as Eazy-G would say. Bobby Champagne is a top fan in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Bobby. Eric Street also in the Facebook live chat. Tony D is in there. Tony D is a top fan. Of course, he just called us a few minutes ago. But Tony was asking, does Dave Ridley even listen to the show, or does he just call in? Yeah, I think he just calls in.
Slightly annoying at times.
We're on his list. He has a list of, like I've heard him when he calls, what's the show that's on NPR in the mornings? Is it The Exchange with Laura Canoy? The Exchange with Laura Canoy. I've heard him call that show as well. He has a list of shows that he calls.
But it'd be really cool
we're on the list.
Like engaged in conversation with what we're actually talking about.
It's okay. I don't think what we're talking about interests him. I think our discussion is probably too statist for him.
But I draw the line at giving me a title with no substance. Well, that does not work for me.
He has a habit of doing that.
You can't assume from a title. Remember I told you when I was in office, I told you about how I would make notes at the tops of bills? And that was after actually I read the bill. I would read the bill and make a note, and then we go to public hearing, and sometimes what I thought was a negative was a positive, and I misunderstood it when the people who do it every day sat down in front of me in a hearing and told me what the bill was intended to do.
Yeah.
So first impressions isn't necessarily correct. So I don't see how you can get a title and go, oh, this is bad. Oh, yeah, this is going to be government overreach. It's a title, dude.
I have noticed, and I know others have commented on this as well, that very often the way the conversation will go with Dave, and I like Dave. This isn't to be mean.
I do like him as a person.
We like Dave very much, but very often the conversation will go, he'll present something, and then I'll ask a very, very obvious and predictable question about what he's presenting.
You mean like what's a government doctor?
And he has no idea.
Exactly.
No, I don't even mean something like that. Like, oh, okay, so what's the status of this now? And he's like, I don't know.
Exactly.
It's like, well, Dave, a little more preparation. For a show like this, you got to come correct.
You got to read where it shows up, what category it's on, what statute it's written into, what section, and seriously, there's a lot more to it than just looking at the surface.
You have to come correct, as the young people, I believe, say that now. If you're going to do it right. Yeah.
Now, if you like the titles and you like playing around with stuff and just kind of being a part of things, then, well, I guess you can go up there and do whatever you want to.
We have a call.
Actually read anything.
Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, Matt. It's Stacie Laughton from Nashua.
Stacie Laughton, how are you?
I'm doing well. I was calling because, I know it's a kind of an interesting, topic, but it's also, I'm calling about, being transgender because, today I was at work and a customer who I had to, they tell us to try to politely, let them know that if we're going to correct them. And so I did with this one customer. He was an old-fashioned gentleman, and he looked at me and he says, "No, you're a man." And I haven't received that kind of gender disrespect in so long. And so, like,
well, wait, Stacie, hold on. What led up to him saying that? Like, what was the conversation leading up?
It was just a simple, friendly, "Oh, sir, no, I'm actually a female," when he had accidentally, what I thought was an accidental misgendering, because it happens, and sometimes you gently correct somebody, and I've learned that you've got to be gentle with that, because sometimes myself and I know sometimes for others, we can be very aggressive with our approach with that. I used to be when I first came out myself, and you got to sometimes understand that people are coming from different perspectives and worldviews and upbringings, and so sometimes you have to, you can't get all hostile when you're trying to gently correct somebody, and so. I just kind of let it brush, because I was like, wow, because like I've not really received a whole lot of disrespect over there, especially here in my city, and certainly when I go to your city, that people are very respectful. I gotta shout out to the good people of Manchester, and so but I just wanted to call because. Sometimes, and I hope one of your listeners is actually listening, because she had actually talked to me recently. A listener of yours named Miriam. I guess she has a child who's transgender.
Miriam Banish.
She was discussing it once on the morning show, and so big shout out to her and her family. And I was just calling because when I wanted to really mention is. In the 21st century, a lot of times, like companies like the company I deal with for my wireless company, they will sit there and when you give them your name, they're trained to just communicate with you and just say your name.
Right.
Because they know that we do live in a world where, sometimes when you misgender someone, even accidentally, it can turn into a major complicated situation sometimes. And so I try to, spread what I believe to people. And if they, I don't push anything on anybody, but I live in a world where I try to live in a gender blind world where, you can't just go by the sound of somebody's voice or the look of their general appearance. You have to get to know the person, or the person has to identify. And, and sometimes I've even seen, like, say my, the staff at the State House or my colleagues, they'll put in their emails their preferred pronouns. So therefore it's already laid out for them. And so, we live in a much different world than the world that say our parents or our grandparents grew up in.
Right.
And sometimes things aren't always as they sound or appear when it comes to gender. And so I always try, because I am transgender, I always try to be very open about communicating with people, because some people are sometimes like, well, I don't want to be offensive. It's like, no, because you're asking me questions, and knowledge is power, and I'd rather have somebody understand what it's like to live in a, in my world sometimes, because I think sometimes, when you understand, it may bring less judgment. I mean, sometimes we might still judge, but I think if people genuinely want to know, maybe they're trying to understand,
I think, I give you credit for understanding, and your patience with that gentleman. And as you mentioned, he was, sounds like he was an old guy. And I think too, when it comes to issues like gender or race or, sometimes I think a lot of us kind of feel this when you're dealing with someone who's old. There's that, I don't know
we
if
can't
it's
fix them. We're gonna
yeah,
can I just be blunt?
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Yeah.
is that's never gonna end until those people die off. It's just that simple.
Well, yeah.
Because these are the same people that think, girls should wear a skirt and maybe it should come to the ankles or it shouldn't go past the knee or the collarbone is showing. This is the same group of people that still trying to grapple with the idea of a female firefighter or a female vice president. I mean, we're going to have history and have the first woman of color swear in the first woman of color to vice president on Wednesday, which is an amazing thing. But for some of these people, they're stuck in their viewpoint.
I always have kind of conflicting ideas in my head about that. There's this one part of me, like I have this one instinct that says, look, if it's someone who's very old, okay, just give them a pass. They're just old. Whatever, And then there's that other.
That's my.
But then there's that. But then there's that other impulse I have that says, well, wait a minute though. Is that a cop out? Is that an excuse? Am I making excuses for them and their ignorance? I mean, I tend to lean toward the former and just want to just say, okay, that's it. If they're 80 years old, just let it go.
Why argue that?
Yeah.
Right.
Why? What's the point? It's not going to do anything but cause more stress. And for all you know, you'll kick them into a stroke. So let's just not go there.
Yeah.
We can just be, Yeah, and I get it. I really do get it. I'm still haunted by a memory when I was like, I want to say I might have been around 10 years old or so. I'd gone over my Auntie Sally's. She lived in an apartment building. And I held the door open, as I was taught to do for anybody. And I got, thank you, young man. And due to the way that I was kept, like the way of the clothing that I was in and the way that my hair was done and so forth by the people that raised me, I looked more like a boy. And it absolutely fed into my issues with trying to come to grips with my own gender. Like, I seriously thought that I was born incorrectly. Yeah. When I was a child, I really believed that I was not born correctly. But so I totally get what you're saying, and I feel it. In that simple sense. But with these, they're older, and honestly, we can't untrain people. This is how they were born, raised. It's in their blood. I hate it. It's not great. But if I'm going to spend 20 minutes arguing with you, I'm going to get a headache and an upset stomach, and you're still going to think I'm a girl or a boy. It isn't even going to change it. It'll be a fight, and that's it. I mean, that's a cop out, like you're saying, Matt. But I just feel like I don't want to fight. Yeah.
But
and someone like, say, in my shoes, I wouldn't want to get into it in public with someone. I mean, it's the last thing. Someone in being a state rep or something, we don't need blowouts in public.
Yeah.
As much as sometimes that urge inside of you creeps up and you just want to, but no. Sometimes you just can't, and there might not. In the end, you may not be able to change their mind.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there is some prejudice that's going to die out, and it's not going to go away till it does die out. And I hate to sound so just cold-hearted about it, but honestly, that's what I feel like.
Well, that's why I always say all of this stuff. I really think, I mean, and God knows we see setbacks like we've seen recently.
Dude, I lit Hanukkah candles in Kentucky, and they accused me of witchcraft.
But I do think that all of this gets better with every generation. I really do. This is something I've always been very optimistic about. It all gets better with every generation. I think every generation of people tends to be more open, more accepting, less worried about all of these issues, and just more like, let's all just see each other as people, and not
you have a good point.
Yeah.
Because like my mother grew up in a world that was a bit different, but it was changing from when her parents were growing up. And
right.
Then, we see the 90s, how they changed a lot of things. And then, all of a sudden when, we see how like the progression of the LGBT movement over time. And then like under the Obama administration, we saw the Supreme Court say, hey, across the board, we can allow gay marriage. And, like you're right, because it seems like, sometimes progress is slow, but it does things do always get better, I feel, and then, we have a setback right now because of what's leaving the White House. But
well,
I think if we hold ourselves together, I don't think it'll be as bad as
the civil rights of today is
currently
different.
Is caused.
The civil rights of today is the civil rights that we deal with today in our today's society is different from that in which Martin Luther King dealt with in his day. And in protests that took place, in the 1960s, and fountains being marked for whites only or blacks only or certain doorways.
Segregated schools.
We are in such a different place now, thankfully, on this Martin Luther King Day than we were, but we're not there yet.
We got a long way to go.
We got a lot more work to go.
And that's a good that you bring that up, because I almost forgot. Big shout out to the fact that it is Martin Luther King Day. And though we're still struggling with racial equality and different injustices or different things as LGBT equality issues, I believe that Martin Luther King's dream can still be realized. Because, like Matt was just saying, things get better with each generation. And we're starting to see a world where, it's acceptable for different races to be together, or different LGBT mixed racial marriages, and all different. The world is just it's changed, and it's a beautiful thing. And so I think that, that dream that he spoke of over time, we're seeing it, but, we still have a ways to go, but, we should all reflect today that it is Martin Luther King Day. And, remember, once COVID is over, if you have that table of brotherhood, don't hesitate to let anyone sit there.
Yep.
Welcome everyone to the table.
Yep. Very well said. Very well said.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys have a great rest of the show. It's good to talk to you. Thanks for taking the call.
All right, Stacie. Thank you for the call. Take care.
You too.
Yes.
Bye-bye. All right, that was a great call, and it must be so. I always wonder about that, though, for people who are transgender in the workplace. It's got to be because that's going to happen. You're going to run into that.
Absolutely. I wonder, does it make a difference if it is someone whose body has the genitals of a woman, but they have the mindset, the mind of supposedly identify as a he, that we're trying to. Because I remember when it first started getting talked about, telling people your pronouns, it was a joke. It was absolutely a joke everywhere. Oh, yeah, you got to know their pronouns. Like, how would you introduce yourself that way? Ha, ha, ha. Amongst Republicans. To be quite honest and quite frank about that.
Yeah.
That's what, people are expecting that, and political correctness has gone too far, and, that's the battle cry.
Yeah.
But it does matter. It is important for people to feel that they are being seen and heard for who they are, not who you want to make them to be.
There's also been this sort of compromise isn't quite the right word, but it's an implicit compromise that, if you're not sure, just go with they or them, which is smart, too, because people are used to doing that anyway. Except it used to be considered grammatically incorrect to do that, but now it's considered okay because it helps with this whole thing. If you're not sure, just say they or that. Because people tend, like growing up, I remember getting corrected about that as a kid grammatically, like teachers saying, no, say him or he or she or her. You don't refer to an individual.
It was ma'am and sir.
Well,
and that doesn't work either.
Yeah, but you don't. But I was always corrected. You don't refer to an individual as they or them. That doesn't make sense. But people tend to. But that's a grammatical.
Oh my God, you're right about that.
But that's a grammatical rule that people tend to violate without even thinking about it. So it's actually very easy because people say it wrong anyway. Okay, well, let's just make that correct and make that sort of the. If you're not sure, if you don't know. Hey, here's it.
And you want to be
use
polite.
They or them. Yeah.
And you want to be civil and polite.
Yeah, just use they or them. It's easy. Everybody wins.
And it is a changing mindset that we're in. As a parent, I've read articles about raising a child today. I would have raised my son entirely different today than I did the way I raised him. I wouldn't have simply bought him Tonka trucks. I would have been more apt to let him go through a store more freely there are things that I understand differently now than I did then, and that's just how time works. And we're in a society now where, kids know little boys would get picked on if they had a stuffed animal or a quote unquote doll. Like I remember if you said something was a doll with one of the kids, they would say, "No, it's an action figure." Because boy, and you can't say doll. You have to say action figure. But we do that to the kids as the adults. We put genders on them by here, you can have this toy, but not that toy.
Even growing up, I thought that was such a weird thing that people get hung up on things like that, whether like what's wrong with just calling it a doll?
My kid had them, but I called it an action figure. If I said doll,
I always thought that was weird.
Seriously, that's true.
Yeah.
And we live but the world now allows for. It really comes down to where we're actually starting to look at each other more as human beings who have emotions and feelings and want to love and want to belong just like everybody else. That if you're a man, you're not supposed to have any emotion. And if you're a woman, you have too much emotion. We're getting away from those old school values. I mean, think back. 1950s, 1960s, little girls were taught home ec. Little boys went to workshop. Little girls were taught to want to get up, get married and have babies and keep a house for a living. And little boys were taken to work with daddy and said, you got to go, you pay the bills, you be the breadwinner.
By the way, so this is interesting to me, because I think a lot about grammar and I get frustrated at some of the things that people say incorrectly, even though I know I'm not speaking the Queen's English either. But so Abigail points out it is still technically grammatically incorrect and we've bent the rules. But Miriam Banish says it is grammatically correct in the Oxford English Dictionary if you don't know gender. Well, that's the thing.
That's a new definition, isn't it?
They've updated that. Yeah. And I remember a couple of years ago, they started to update it specifically for this. And the reason it stands out in my mind is I remember Ben Shapiro, who used to be at one time was a conservative who I thought was kind of interesting, even though I disagree with him ideologically, because he does come up with some unique logical arguments that other conservatives don't. But then I realized what a liar he is, and I was like, so that turned me off to him. But anyway, Ben Shapiro, I ran across this segment of his where he went nuts over this because he's very anti-transgender. He's extraordinarily transphobic. And, he uses his religion as a crutch for why it's okay, as an excuse. But he's
another reason why you're not going to fix people like we're talking about.
He's virulently transphobic. But his whole argument was that you can't, it's not okay to expect people to say they and them when people have never done that before. And it's like he was complete, but I wish I could remember exactly how he explained it, but he was completely ignoring the fact that people out of poor grammar, people have always said they and them. It's not anything new, dude. The rules have changed grammatically, but you're not retraining people to say they and them. People already do that.
It does take a little bit of thought to put it in your head, though, just simply replace the word. Instead of saying he's over there or she's over there, they're over there.
Yeah.
Or they were just there.
Yeah.
And it does take a moment, but just take a moment. If you take all we're actually talking about doing right now is just taking a moment to actually look at the other person you're about to have a conversation with it and recognize who that is. Instead of just being all into, I can't wait to tell you my first sentence.
Yeah.
To actually take a moment and go, oh, okay, I see you. Hey, hi there. What's your name? Or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, take a moment to actually see the person you're talking to instead of being so hyped up to get your sentence out.
Abigail is saying in the chat room, too, Ben Shapiro's favorite song is WAP, that Cardi B song. I don't know if you've seen that, but he was reading. There's a video of him reading the lyrics to the song because I guess it upsets him so much.
Jesus.
I don't like the song either.
You want to quote me verbatim because you don't like me. All righty then.
I don't like the song either, not because it
more haters.
It doesn't offend me, but it is a little. It's like, jeez.
I don't even know what you're talking. I really don't. I have to go look it up.
Yeah, go look. Yeah,
I would have to look it up.
Yeah, it's something.
Is it something about him?
No, it's just, what WAP stands for. It's like, all right, so we
I was a little slow on the uptake there, Maddie.
Let's just say it's not
time
something.
For a break yet?
It's not something. Yes, I'm going to play that. So no, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I cannot play that because if I do, I will.
You will never work again.
I will not be back tomorrow.
Never work in radio again. No,
and we all know what do I always say when people ask me what is my goal with this show? My goal is to spend 2 hours every afternoon not getting fired. That is my number one objective doing this program. All right, we do have to take a break. It is the top of the hour, so I'm going to play a little something, and we'll show some love to our sponsors, and we will be back. Abigail says it's a rough song, but Shapiro's obsession is strange. There's some theories about that, but which we also will not discuss.
Look that one up.
Yeah, there's some theories about that. All right, we'll be right back. More Unleashed coming up. Don't go away.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. This nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. And every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is a faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, "My country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. Not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Bring your kitchen to life with Queen City Cabinetry, located at 87 Elm Street in the historic Sunbeam Mall in Manchester. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can be reached at 603-222-2007 or on the web at queencitycabinetrynh.com. Come see the possibilities. Queen City Cabinetry, another proud sponsor of WMNH.
The Regency Collection, premier 55 and older independent living communities with 3 locations here in Manchester. Enjoy the lifestyle you deserve with heated underground parking, impressive amenities, 24-hour emergency maintenance, and on-site management. 1 and 2 bedroom apartment homes with heat, hot water, and cable included. Just minutes from routes 93 and 293. Shopping, dining, and entertainment. The Regency Collection is a perfect place to call home. Professionally managed by Palmer Asset Management. Visit us online at regencywestnh.com or call us at 603-546-7025. Welcome home to the Regency Collection. We're excited to hear from you.
This hour on WMNH is sponsored by CGI Business Solutions, located at 5 Dartmouth Drive in Auburn. They serve all your business needs, including employee benefits planning, corporate design and business administration, investments and wealth management, and customized business insurance solutions. Their phone number is 866-841-4600 or on the web at cgibusinesssolutions.com.
WMNH, rip the knob off.
Welcome back, everybody. We are away in hour number 2, a numero dos of Matt Connarton Unleashed, and we are live from the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Also on Comcast 97 if you're in Manchester, streaming at WMNHradio.org, and on the Facebook on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. And, of course, you can get the show at mattconnerton.com as well. And Jenny is here at the news desk.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, peeps.
And let's see, it is, of course, Martin Luther King Day.
Yes.
In New Hampshire, is that what we call it now, or do we still do it? Do we still call it Martin Luther King Civil Rights Day?
You know, I'm not positive on which way that is. But we were the last state to declare it a holiday.
Yeah,
I do know that.
Which drove me nuts. It just made us look bad that it took us so long.
But you had Columbus. Why do you need another?
Oh, jeez. Oh,
see
boy.
where I went there.
That one I want to get. That one I'd like to just change to Indigenous Peoples Day, but I don't think that's going to happen here in New Hampshire.
It will, maybe, when the rest of the country does first.
Some states have.
If we want to stick true to form, we'll wait until everybody else does it before us.
That's true. Yes, if it follows the same pattern as
we won't be able to lead.
We took our sweet time getting to Martin Luther King Day.
Did.
Because if I remember correctly, wasn't calling it Civil Rights Day, wasn't that kind of the compromise for a while?
Yeah. New Hampshireites seemingly had a problem with giving a holiday to a black man.
So embarrassing.
It should be. Jeez. It should be embarrassing. It should be embarrassing. The state should just hang its head in shame and go, oh, God. I was not in the legislature when that happened.
No.
But
well, speaking of something that gets better,
that's horrible.
Something that gets better with every generation.
Yeah, we like to hope. I think Trump put us back a little bit.
May have a little bit of a setback there.
We've been living in Jerry Springer's world for the last 4 years.
A little bit of a speed bump.
Speed bump.
Oh, only a couple days left.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait.
603-250-6007 is the number to call. 603-250-6007. You can also text me at 617-917-4476. Tweet me at Matt Connarton or send an email to matt@mattconnerton.com.
My fellow Americans. I've been hearing that lately. It sounds so sweet to my ears.
Bill Crystal, speaking of Twitter, at Bill Crystal. And I never thought I would like Bill Crystal, but
as in Billy Crystal?
But I do.
The comedian?
No, Bill Crystal, the political analyst, commentator. Very conservative guy, but a never-Trumper. He does not like Trump. He just tweeted out Department of Defense should send backup units to do a half-assed ceremony, saying the A-team's busy with the inauguration.
Seriously. I want him convicted so he doesn't have to be protected by Secret Service.
That's a legitimately good idea. They should send the B team, send the backup.
And the band should just the bus should just get lost, for like an hour. Like they did with some of the electorates in Florida that one year. Just kind of drove around with them in the bus.
Yeah.
We just drive around with them.
Bill Crystal, if I'm not mistaken, is part of the Lincoln Project. they made some great ads. They made better ads than the DNC ever thought of putting out.
The Lincoln Project is amazing. They're still putting stuff out.
Yeah, they are.
They still put stuff out. I thought that would end, with the election.
I did
no.
too. I did too. No, they're not
well,
done.
They did Georgia's elections. They went forward there, and they did great there. Here we are.
Well, I think they want to, they
start a new party.
They want to purge Trump. It's going to be very interesting. I think I have theories about. Well, I know what I think Republicans should do when it comes time for the trial, the impeachment trial in the Senate, which may only last one day. Republicans will have to make a choice. They can, if they choose to, they can rip this Band-Aid off the wound and just be done with it.
Yep.
They could, and it will hurt. I use that analogy because there will be short-term pain. There will be terrible short-term pain, but the long-term benefit, I think they'll look back and be glad they did. If they decide to go ahead and convict Trump in the Senate, and then they'll have to do it by a separate vote, then vote that he cannot run for office again and just be done with it. And the short-term pain will be severe, and they're going to have people heckling them at the airports, and they're going to have death threats and whatever. But they will have finally put Trump behind them. And over time, and it will take time, but over time, Republicans will, they'll find someone even worse than Trump to worship, I suppose. But
I don't know if your idea is going to work anymore. I used to think, I would have agreed with you prior to the insurrection.
Yeah.
But now I'm not so sure. Now I'm not so sure because there are people sitting in office right now that may very well have been behind some of this.
Maybe. I sure hope not.
I have little doubt in my mind that there wasn't. I got to tell you, I don't believe for a moment that there wasn't some involvement there. There's no way that these tours that were going on the day before, and there's no way that what's her name there, the QAnon.
Oh, I forget her name, but yeah,
she was one of the ones with the tours too. She was probably giving people freaking pictures.
Well, she's someone to genuinely worry about because
they need to be out.
I keep blanking on her name. Maybe subconsciously I'm repressing her name from my memory.
But the so-called Freedom Caucus.
But yeah, this one, is she a senator or a congress?
She's Congress.
She, for those who don't know, she is openly a QAnon cultist, yes. and she is the kind of person, AOC was saying that she didn't feel safe when they all had to hunker down. By the way, none of them were safe because some of those Republicans wouldn't wear masks.
And one
when
of
they're
them,
all in this room together.
Reports now, one of those sad little Republicans did freaking have it, and there are now people infected from hunkering down with them.
So even for that, no one was safe. But AOC was saying she doesn't even necessarily feel safe among her fellow Republicans because she's worried that, like the QAnon woman, so we now have someone serving in Congress who is openly a follower of QAnon.
Which, can we remind people that these are people who believe Satanists that are pedophiles are running the country and stole the election from Trump so they could sacrifice more children.
Yeah, and then
I'm not making this up, and I'm not being a wise ass.
The Democrats eat babies, and this is all they really believe this. This is
lock, stock, and barrel.
Hyperbole. This, So, although apparently Alex Jones is upset with them now. Alex Jones is.
I want to know why he hasn't been arrested. Did you see his speeches down there?
He's turned his back on Q. Yeah, but
he did.
But he's mad at QAnon.
Oh,
I'm not talking about our
probably
friend.
Stepped into his pot of money.
I'm not talking about. Well, that's the theory.
He no take kindly to that one though.
Their competition for the crazy.
Remember I told you the story about him that when he came into all these protesters thought, oh my God, it's Alex Jones, yay! Here he comes, he's joining us, yay! And then he stepped all over them, ran over them, told them they didn't know what they were doing, and just basically bullied them all out, and then started yelling at them. It was something else, boy.
Well, he has this move he does when there's media around. If there's a group of people doing something, what he'll do is he'll I've seen multiple videos where he does this, and it's smart. And I don't know if he does it exactly with intention or if it's just kind of instinctive for him. But say the media, I'll give you an example. I saw him. He got into a spat with Marco Rubio once a few years ago, where Rubio actually threatened to assault him. But so he chases Rubio, like Rubio's talking to the media, and he chases Rubio away. And then what Alex Jones does is he'll move and position himself into the exact spot that the person he just chased away was standing. So the media, because if the media, like in this case, they're talking to Marco Rubio.
I've never realized that.
You've got legitimate media people interviewing Marco Rubio. Rubio leaves, and Alex Jones maneuvers himself into the exact spot where Rubio was standing. And what that does is psychologically, and these are things that I've studied because I'm a certified hypnotherapist, all these subconscious ways the mind works. So what that does is psychologically, that signals to these people in the legitimate media, oh, we're supposed to be talking to this person now because this person is standing exactly where the other person who we were talking to is now. And obviously that doesn't always work, but I suspect it's a technique that he has developed and honed.
And his son's just like him.
I've
seen his son's been showing up at stuff with him by his side. He's just like him.
Yeah.
He's just a chip off the old block.
But the particular concern too that somebody pointed out about this woman who's a QAnon follower who's now been elected, because we have seen over the decades, and I realize now it's been going on for decades, this gradual thing. I think it accelerated though during Obama, is this melding of what used to be mainstream conservatism, this melding of conservatism and conspiracy theorism theorism, I'm trying to say, conspiracy theorism. They now occupy the same space. And so, that's why, for example, you have something like 70% of Republicans who think the election was stolen from them because, they're into conspiracy theories now. The problem, too, is so not only do you have this congresswoman who is openly a QAnon believer, but think about who she's bringing with her.
Right.
The staff that she's bringing. Presumably everyone who works for her is also a QAnon believer. And what if one of these people decides to bring a gun to Congress? There's a lot that can go wrong here, and that's why... because look, I'll admit
what they believe though is insane.
Well,
Isn't there some alien stuff involved in that?
There's
too?
all kinds of nonsense.
Oh wait, I know what it was. That the moon landing was faked.
Well,
it's the same
because
group.
It's all conspiracy theory stuff.
Yeah, because there's this group of people, the Satanists, who have been running our government all this time. Those things were just done to placate people, but they didn't actually occur. There was no landing on the moon. There was no... I don't even know if they do the satellites, if they believe in satellites. But they literally buy into this crap. It has absolute... And, here's the scary part. Some of these people that buy into this stuff, these aren't stupid people we're talking about. We're talking about people who have degree after degree. Some of them have doctor in front of their name. They have doctorate, and they're absolutely insane.
Well, the last straw for Alex Jones apparently was the warlocks.
The warlocks?
Yeah, I guess they're into warlocks or something. If you're in QAnon, you get to be a warlock and cast spells or something. I don't know. I guess that's just too much for Alex Jones. Well, I mean,
just when I think this stuff can't get.
Did you?
I'm not sure. Press the button. Thank you. But seriously, just before you think it can't get any weirder. They're now introducing witchcraft and warlocks.
I guess reptilian shapeshifters secretly running the earth is one thing, but witches and warlocks, that's just too far. That's a bridge too far.
Yeah, I know, right?
Even for Alex Jones.
He's got that David Icke guy on all the time, and he swears that we're run by green lizards and they keep us under a dome.
Yes. By the way, hello to Mike Pelopita, who joins us in the Facebook live chat. Mike, of course, from one of our wonderful sponsors here at WMNH, Queen City Cabinetry. We should also remind you, of course, of our great sponsor, the Hop Knot. Don't go there today. Monday and Tuesday is their weekend, but they are open Wednesday through Sunday in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
They have that whole new menu.
Oh yeah, I do want to try the. Is it a pretzel
pizza?
Pretzel pizza.
Pretzel pizza.
That sounds good to me.
No, I have to try this. And they have new drink menus out. Oh yeah, lots of good stuff going over there. They have an. I got to have some soup. It was because I got it takeout. I had the spinach and cheese soup, and it was amazing.
Oh yes,
it was really really good.
There you go.
See, I like when they make their soups, and actually everything they make, it's all fresh. So I get real food.
Yeah.
Because I swore off most processed foods. I don't really have any processed foods anymore.
Yeah.
As I sit here with my Twizzlers. I'm not giving up my candy.
Right.
I draw the line at my candy. Candy and chocolate you cannot take away from me. And ginger ale. Candy, chocolate, and ginger ale. And coffee.
I think my original point, though, was I just think that I think that what they should do, what the Republicans should do, and this isn't an ideological point of view. This is a purely putting ideology or beliefs, positions completely aside. This is a purely political analysis. If I were a Republican strategist, this is what I would tell them. Just rip that Band-Aid off the wound and put Trump in the rearview mirror. Because once it's done, it's done.
They can't.
It's going to hurt for a while.
Nope.
But that will fade.
Never happened.
Trump is because Trump. Well,
not
listen.
Not going to happen.
The way the look
at the masses of the Republican Party is now.
I know.
His foolish followers.
I know, but
they got to appease those pocketbooks.
But Trump. Here's the thing, though. Trump has to maintain that in order to keep these people continuing to believe in him. And Trump is in so much trouble.
Oh, I know.
Trump's business empire is crumbling. The corporate world is completely turning their backs
left and right.
They're turning their backs on him. His legal problems are going to crush him. He may.
Inside of a New York City jail.
He may end up in prison.
Agreed.
They should rip the Band-Aid. Because
agreed,
here's
but they're
the thing.
not going to because they should have done this a while ago.
But if they don't take this opportunity to do it, they're going to spend years wishing they had.
How do they do that?
This is
when
their
all
one
of their
chance.
Followers are the fools that ran into the State House.
I know.
The Capitol.
That's what I mean about the short-term pain.
We had a small group of those fools in Concord.
And that short-term pain, I'm using short-term loosely. It may be years, but it's years versus a decade. I'm telling you, they've got to do it now. If they don't do it at the moment,
humanity is too stupid.
If they don't do it, Mitch McConnell wants. Nope. I guarantee you, Mitch McConnell will.
Nope,
Mitch McConnell will vote to convict.
No, he won't.
And I guarantee you, he will.
I guarantee you,
he will.
You really think he will?
He will.
I don't think he's gonna.
Mitch McConnell, I'm telling you,
he's worried about getting more donations.
No.
And money.
He's safe for a while.
What are they going to do?
He doesn't have to. He just won re-election, right? He doesn't have to. He's fine for now.
He's safe for now.
He's safe for long enough.
He just won re-election.
Unless
he does something that gets him thrown out of seat.
He is a pragmatist, and he wants what's best for the long term. And and I bet you anything, there's a part of him.
He's been in politics his entire life. Trump just took a little dip in the toe and walked away, like he does everything.
And McConnell
that looks pretty. Let me try it on.
That. And
you
McConnell,
have to clean it here.
And McConnell resents that and hates him for it. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Mitch McConnell has a deep-seated, intense loathing for Trump,
He's
and
not
is
a politician they can play with,
and is dying to stick the shiv.
But they still have
Trump's
to deal with the public consensus.
I know
that even still does not leave his side.
But if
you
they
can kill a cop
don't
and
do
still
this,
won't leave your side.
If they don't do this,
you can blind a dude.
Trump is going to be threatening to run for president in 2024, and that freezes the field. So all these other people like Tom Cotton, for example, who we know is dying to run for president, Marco Rubio, who would love to run again, Lindsey Graham, who probably would love to run again, Ted Cruz, who would love to run again.
Lindsey Graham needs to retire.
It completely freezes the field.
How that man can get reelected with what he says is beyond me.
As long as Trump is around, it totally freezes the field, and none of these people can move forward with their own campaigns for the presidency in 2024.
But they can't freeze him out without losing his people. That's the thing.
So
when you say rip the
term,
Band-Aid, you're talking about getting rid of people.
They have to do it.
I think you should just start a whole new party. Lincoln Project should start a whole new party.
They should, but
and
it's
not
never gonna
invite
happen.
anybody that's in the current
I'm
one.
telling you, they've got it. I'm not saying I think they will, but it's the smart play.
I don't see how they can recover.
It'll take time.
They have literally stomped on and thrown dirt on top of everything that used to be in the platform during this administration.
Memories.
And people do not give up their fantasies. Because I'm right about this. If I stand in front of you and show you something, you're not necessarily going to believe that as quickly as you would believe that an invisible angel came down from the sky and burned a burning bridge. And here you go. Trump is your new Lord and Savior. You know that. You know I'm right about
but
that.
Here's the thing, though, too. Voters' memories tend to be kind of short because most Americans, I try not to use the phrase average American because it bugs me, but Americans generally are not into all of this as much as someone like you or I or the listeners of this show are, right? Most people are too busy. It's understandable. Just trying to make a living, just trying to survive in this country, right? So because of that, people's memories about this stuff aren't that deep, which is why
an event.
It's
a belief system.
You can anger these people now, and by the 2022 midterms, they've largely forgotten.
But you're looking at the bigger picture there.
Right.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening.
They have one
They have
chance.
destroyed the Republican Party beyond measure. I really think they just
But
need
the
to
only
start
way,
over.
but the only way to do that, because
You've got to get people to give up their
you've got to get rid of
delusions.
Trump. You've got to get rid of Trump. They have one opportunity to throw Trump overboard and sail away.
And they're too stupid to take it.
And if they,
I say
maybe
they won't.
But if they don't do it, they're going to spend years.
I think there's a possibility of conviction in the Senate. I just don't see.
They're going.
I don't see him flipping.
They're going to spend years regretting that they didn't seize that opportunity.
Oh, they're going to spend the next 2 decades regretting his presidency.
I know. But they're going to spend years regretting that they didn't take that up. They have one shot, and I'm telling you, McConnell's going to vote to convict, and he's going to want to vote to bar Trump from the presidency. And if they don't all go along, they're going to regret it. And McConnell is going to tell them, if we don't do this now, we're all going to regret it. I don't care if they do or not. I'm perfectly fine watching them twist in the wind.
With Rand Paul on the other side of that conversation, screaming in the caucus about how not Republican it is. And you're going to have his like.
Don't be so sure.
I think it's possible to convict, yes. Do I think that Mitch McConnell's going to vote to convict? No. I don't. I don't see him convicted.
I promise you he will.
I'd like to see it. I just don't
promise you he will.
But the larger problem is still there, is that the Republican Party is damaged beyond measure right now. And it's going to take them decades to undo this damage. And there is no... Here's my thing. How do you get these people to stop believing this satanic pedophilia craziness when... They have that in the basis of their religion. This is tied to their faith in God. You are not rewriting these people.
Oh, I know that.
They think that Satan has everything under control, and they are the warriors of God, and they have to come in and kill. Look at what they did.
I know.
They ran. I can't excuse this kind of stupidity anymore because it's costing people their lives.
No, that's why.
And then they wanted to steal computers and send them overseas to our enemies. One of them, the goofball one, the one that the QAnon girl, she wanted to steal Pelosi's computer and send it to Russia. You get people on video there skimming through paperwork, some of which may be classified information, taking pictures of it. Like and then one of them says there's got to be something here we can use against those. Yeah. That's how these people think.
Oh,
they don't even see them as human beings. They see them as evil, Satan worshipping, pedophile, child eating. You're not going to undo their insanity.
You're not. But here's the thing. This is what they have to think about. And I guarantee you Mitch McConnell is thinking about this. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Look, generally, Democrats are going to vote for Democrats, Republicans are going to vote for Republicans. But you've got a national electorate, which last I looked, 41% of the voting electorate in this country is independents, which everyone always forgets. But it's a staggering number of people who don't want to be associated
That's why he
with
has
either party.
The lowest approval rating of any president.
But that's where elections are won and lost. It's not that you can't ever get a Democrat to vote Republican or a Republican to vote Democrat. Sure. I mean, there are some Republicans who voted for Joe Biden. Joe Biden did not win Georgia because everybody voted party lines. Clearly, some Republicans crossed over.
Wonder why.
Yeah, no kidding. But Mitch McConnell knows, unless you want to lose independence forever, I'm telling you, he knows you got to rip this bandage off the wound and be done with it.
I don't know that he has the power to do that on his own.
No, but he's very powerful. He's got a lot of power.
He is.
He's not going to be the majority leader anymore. He's going to be the minority leader, but he's got a lot of power.
He does, but you're talking, but outside of the Senate, yeah, he may be able to control some lines in there, and you might be right. He might be able to pull it off, but that's not going to change the party at large in the country. You're still going to have this massive civil war going inside of the Republican Party.
You can't save the party, but you've got to try to figure out a way to appeal to independents, because I'm sure right now most independents look, I'm an independent, and I've said it's very likely that Chris Sununu is the last Republican I'm ever voting for in my life, unless the party drastically changes, because I look at these people as freaks. At this point, after what happened last Wednesday, I look at the Republican Party as just these people are freaks and lunatics and fringe conspiracy theorists, and I never
thought in a million years,
and they're enablers, the enablers of those people.
Good point.
So I don't want to support. I mean,
never in a million years did I ever think I was going to see a Republican, all that in a bag of chips, taking an American flag and beating a cop over the head with it.
Yeah.
On a 2x4 pole.
Apparently, that's how they back the blue.
They were carrying black the blue signs and blinding a cop at the same time. There's one cop that lost an eye last week. Yeah, it was one dead, one lost an eye.
Yeah.
There's I don't know how many that got injured.
Yeah.
So, you're back in the blue real nice over there, aren't you? You still going to back the blue when they're burying the guy? Guy's not even buried yet.
Yeah.
Not even buried yet.
No, these people are very, very deeply confused. And I know some will counter that and say, well, that doesn't represent all of the Republican Party, to which I say maybe it doesn't. But all of you, and I'm talking about Republicans who hold office and who don't speak out. Sununu, to his credit, does speak out. He does it carefully, but he does speak out. But a lot of Republicans already hate him for taking COVID seriously, which is another thing that I appreciate about him. But
that's why they were having armed guns outside his house in front of his kids.
But all these Republicans who say, well, this doesn't represent this is not a true representation, a fair representation of our party. All of you who enable these people, who don't stand up to these people, who just go along with whatever they say. Maybe you don't agree,
you might as
but
well
you
have
don't.
Held the door open.
But you don't speak up either.
Yeah.
You tolerate them. You don't say, well, I think these militia people are a little wacky too. You don't say it, because you don't want them to turn on you. So instead you enable them, you coddle them. The Republicans who are in Congress are the most spineless jellyfish.
And they'll show up and play G.I. Joe with them.
Yeah.
They'll go to the range and show up that day.
But they won't stand up against the fringe of their the so-called fringe of their party. They won't stand up to Trump. They spent 4 years enabling all of this.
How come you're so convinced that they're there? How are you so convinced that they're there? How are you so convinced that these people aren't all in too? Because, their Bible tells them so.
Well, who knows? I mean,
it's drilled into that. End of the world is a good thing.
For some reason, I don't know why. I keep trying to figure it out. I don't know if he's just enormously popular in his home state. For some reason, Ben Sasse of Nebraska, I mean, I'm not saying he's stood up to Trump a ton, but he does stand up to him on some things, and has said he supported impeachment and will vote to convict. Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska has been correct, but
and daring. He's dared where others have not.
And for some reason,
I got to respect that.
And for some reason, he gets away with it. And I don't know why. Like I said,
might be his likability in the state.
Maybe
I mean,
he's a younger guy too. He's
politicians are about the vote. Who's going to carry? Who's got the vote?
I mean, Ben Sasse is like, he's our age, which for Congress is young. So maybe he's just young and figures even if people get mad at him, he still has a long political career ahead of him. But he's one of the few. For some reason, he has something resembling a spine. But the vast majority, like, I just view the Republican Party as pathetic and weak, and they're just spineless jellyfish, and whatever Trump says, they go along with, and it's
worse than that, Matt.
It's so disgusting.
I'm done giving people credit for stuff that I'm done assuming that people are humans. This is because no, you got to prove to me you're a human being anymore. It's worse than that, Matt. They believe this crap. They believe God has ordained this to happen.
Oh, I know.
And this stuff is going to, and that's what scares me. We got to get past Wednesday to start feeling safe again.
Yeah.
Because every single state house has received threats.
Oh, yeah.
Every single state house has received a threat in the United States of America. In the United States of America, it's now support blue lives unless they're against you. Then you can trample on them and kill them. I mean, like, the world is upside down from what it used to be in the Republican world. The party of law and order. The party of law and order.
They're so confused.
Six people dead from last week.
They were chanting something about the Constitution. We're here about the Constitution, while they're directly interfering in a constitutional process, the certification of the vote. Like, there's so
if not for the actions of the cops they were trying to kill, they would have gotten their hands on Pence.
Yeah.
There was moments between that.
Right. Mike Pence, with whom ideologically they're perfectly aligned, by the way, but they wanted to hang him.
They were going through the halls yelling that.
I know.
Hang Mike Pence.
The cognitive dissonance of these imbeciles is endless. It's just...
They built a gallows.
One self-contradiction on top of another on top of the other. None of it makes sense. They're so stupid. They don't...
You know when you watch movies, they have that crazy crowd.
But it's
the
Antifa.
Mob. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Antifa.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Antifa using the hand signals from the military.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And running around with the the guns they're afraid of.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not seeing that. No. But see, here's the thing. They've been doing this for 4 years. It's built up to this. They created this. This is the monster they created.
Yeah.
They stepped away from traditional Republican values and went rogue, and this is what it's given them, and it's worse than ever because it isn't just politics as usual.
Yeah.
Because this is delving into areas of faith that embolden some people beyond measure.
Yeah.
Geez, I mean, this is horrible. This is worse than any. I worry for our nation because this is not politics as usual. This isn't you and I disagreeing on a topic. This is people disagreeing and killing each other over it. Be willing to kill each other over it.
Well, what happened last Wednesday too, and I know we had talked about this off air. It's it's been so easy for so long to kind of dismiss these people as, because I've known people who they like to talk a big game about how there's going to be a revolution and I'm going to be a part of it.
And let's identify white privilege. We're talking about white people, domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
And we have to call it what it is.
But it's always easy to laugh those people off and not take them seriously and be like, yeah, dude, whatever. You're not going to get off your couch
just
and
like
go
the
do
cops
something.
Holding the door for them so they could leave and say bye, see you later.
But my point is, though, we can't afford to not take those people seriously anymore. I mean, yeah, some guy sitting on his couch drinking a 12-pack of beer talking about the revolution, it's very easy to laugh him off, and he does deserve our ridicule. But we have to actually take these people seriously.
They need they become actionable.
Yeah, they have.
It's not just sitting on the couch chit-chatting about it.
I mean,
this is real deal. There was pipe bombs, there's Molotov cocktails. People prepared to kill other people in a true-on attempt to usurp the American government and our electorate system.
Yeah.
To try and instill their king, who is still fighting about having a red carpet and 21 gun salute when he leaves Andrews Air Force Base on Wednesday after Marine One brings him there because he was told, nay, you cannot have Air Force One. That now belongs to the Biden team on Wednesday.
I would love to see, I can't imagine this would actually happen, but I have this fantasy of he's going to get on Marine One, and he's got the military there, to do whatever, and they all because of what happened last Wednesday, they all together turn their backs on him as he's boarding. How great would that be? How awesome would that be?
To be honest with you, I would like to see that.
Oh, that'd be a beautiful thing to see.
This is a man that said, "March down to the Capitol. Yeah. I'll be with you."
Yep.
He did this.
Yep.
He told them where to go. He encouraged it. His son got up there. Oh, you want to be the hero, not the zero.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Giuliani got up there. We need to have hand-to-hand combat.
Yep, he said that.
Literally said that.
Giuliani literally said that.
And what did these people do? Exactly what they told them to do.
Yep.
They dispersed from that location, proceeded to Capitol, and then created mass destruction and mayhem, caused people to die, and killed somebody.
And in those videos, when confronted, they said, we were sent here by the president, or we were invited here by the president of the United States.
And then they're looking at them going, join us, follow your oath. You're not your oath is with you. Obey your oath. Come with us. Because there are numerous videos of people talking to the cops. They're going, no, you should just be coming with us now because we're following what the president wants. I truly believe that these people in their hearts of hearts believed that if they could get in there and stop it, that they were going to somehow be able to cause Trump to stay the president.
Oh, yeah.
And that all of these military and police and everybody were going to join together with them in Kumbaya.
Yeah.
That we're going to have Trump for the next 4 years. They believe this.
Oh,
and
they had to.
And some of them take it one step further that God anointed it.
So
it has to happen.
Well, they were praying at one point.
Oh, they did. They prayed in
one
the
of the
Capitol.
videos. They were praying
after the dude stopped howling like a wolf.
Oh yeah.
That was weird too. Why are we howling?
Well, yeah, but yeah, they had to have believed that that this was going to do something, that this was some sort of destiny that they had or something, because no one's going to go and do something like that assuming that the FBI is going to come looking for them afterward, or that they're just going to get away with it, unless
none of those people thought they were going to get arrested. They all walked out.
Well,
smiling.
There may be, though. I was thinking about this earlier, though. There might be some of these people who got them, like, have you ever been in a situation where you try to do something and you don't expect to succeed at it, and then you're surprised when you do, and then you realize you're not prepared for what you just succeeded at, and you're like going, "Oh crap, I didn't think this would actually work," and now I'm not so sure. I'm glad that it worked.
Did you kind of get a feeling from that with the?
I think some of
Lieutenant Colonel?
Well, I think some of these people, I think probably a lot of them, what might have happened is they just assumed that they would never get this. Never in their wildest dreams did they think they would actually get in to the Capitol. And then when it happened, it's like, oh, we're actually here. Okay, well, we better make the most of it. You know what I mean? Because they didn't expect it.
But the one guy turned around. The military guy said, remember, this is an info. This is an intel operation.
Yeah.
Respect the chair.
Yeah.
Told the guy to get out of Vice President Pence's chair.
Yeah.
And he said that, and then you had everybody going through papers, trying to find. I think they really believed.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong.
They would find things that proved that all of these conspiracies about pedophiles and everything else was true.
No! Don't get me wrong. I think and this was planned. Clearly, this was planned, and they planned.
Oh, absolutely.
They had planned to get. I'm just saying, some of the people.
And they knew where they were going, too.
Some of the people, though, I'm sure, were kind of like, got in there and were like, oh, and they're following along with the other people. But some of them, I think, were just genuinely shocked that they got in. But then once they got in, because it
was like a big party.
Out of all those people, though, there had to be a few. I mean, I understand these
They were destroying the building.
I understand these are inbred hillbillies. They're not having a lot of thoughts. I saw a lot of handlebar mustaches in those videos.
No. So some of those.
But But I'm sure
firefighters were handled.
I know. I'm kidding about that.
Wise guy.
But I'm sure. And with my gray, I look on camera like I have a handlebar mustache, but it's actually a patch of gray. But I'm sure there were some of those people who were kind of thinking, are we in over our heads here? Because we didn't expect to get this far. Am I going to prison now that we're here?
And then what happened when they left the building?
Not that I have any sympathy for anyone who may have experienced a little pain of regret once they actually got in.
They got guided out and had the door open for them while they proceeded to walk out. If that had been a group of black people, they would have been getting zip-tied and piled on top of each other right out that door. They would have, no way would they have had the police holding the door open for them and while they sauntered away.
Oh, they wouldn't have.
That would have never, ever, ever have happened.
They wouldn't have gotten in. If a crowd of people of color would have been tear gassed.
That needs to be talked about. Let's look at what happened last week and what happened when BLM was at the Capitol. How many National Guard people were there then? How many people got arrested then? What happened there? And they didn't break anything, and they didn't break into anything.
Yeah.
They didn't steal anything. These people did.
Yeah.
This is white privilege. This is what is wrong with our society. This is wrong.
No, I think
my mind is just like blown with this.
I think that's part of it. I think that's part of what happened here. And I also think too, they had a lot of people there. I mean, look, there's going to be people in law enforcement who are sympathetic.
And they had people who were leading, who had plans, who led them, told them where to go and what to do. There were plans.
Well, this
thing was planned.
That's why they're thoroughly vetting everyone now who's going to have anything to do with security for the inauguration.
Which they do anyway. But,
but now
I know, there's
a new urgency to this.
So when they're calling them up, like here in New Hampshire, they called them, I think it was 50 National Guards recently. They're vetted when they get called up for the job, and then they're vetted again. I think when they get to the location. They've got to be using extra scrutiny on this. I mean, how do we deal with the fact that we have to face the fact that some of our own first responders were involved in this?
Yeah,
and they need to be held accountable. That this is a crime. This is not okay. It is never okay to be that violent.
Well, you've got to figure. I mean, you take the Capitol Police. Statistically, at minimum a third of them had to be MAGA. And
there are too many pictures to show that.
And you would hope
they're gone.
Well, I was going to say,
I hope they're gone.
I was going to say you would hope that they would put their duty as police ahead of their political affiliations. And most of them probably do. But there's bound to be a few that just can't help it because it is a cult. I firmly believe that. It absolutely is a cult.
Absolutely is.
And
it's the worst kind because it's involved and ingrained in religion.
And even if you're a police officer, if you firmly believe in your heart that the leader of this cult, Donald Trump, that if you really believe all the nonsense, if you really believe that he was personally chosen by God to be the leader, and you really believe that the election was stolen from him, and you really believe all of this, and you're a QAnon follower and all of that, in that moment when you got to make a choice, maybe you say, well, there's a higher calling here. Yeah, I'm a police officer, but there's a higher calling. I'm going to put on this MAGA hat. I'm going to pose for this selfie.
You think you're doing something for the sake of God?
Well,
that's the equivalency in that realm of thinking. That's the equivalency of the section in the Bible where it says, Jesus says, "I came to you 3 times, and you refused me. You didn't recognize me.
You don't want to be
that's
a Judas,
exactly, and that's exactly how it's looked upon.
Was it Judas or was it someone else?
No, it was
who denied him. Was it Peter who denies him 3 times?
I think it's Peter.
What did Judas? Judas did something else. What did Judas do?
Judas is the one that got the 50 pieces of silver for turning him in.
Okay, but it was Peter who denied him.
I think it was Peter that denied him 3 times.
Okay.
But see, for some of the people, this stuff is just ordained by God.
Yeah. I did that with Eazy-G once. Somebody asked me if I knew him. I said, no, never met the guy.
You
Just kidding. I'm kidding. All right, we are out of time. Happy Martin.
Really?
Yeah, happy Martin Luther King Day, everybody. Let's see.
Next year be a lot better for all of us.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow, we're almost at the end of the Trump administration. Just
can't wait.
43 hours left,
I think I
Abigail
might have
posted.
Chinese food Wednesday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why Chinese?
It's a celebratory food in my book.
Oh, okay.
I love having Chinese food.
All right.
Any excuse is a good excuse, actually.
There you go. All right, we got to wrap up. If you missed any part of today's show, it will be up in just a little bit at WMNHradio.org. And if you're listening to WMNH, stick around. Granite State of Mind, a replay of that show, is coming up at 6 p.m. So if you missed Friday's edition of that with the great Rob Azevedo, newly recovered. Apparently, Rob had gotten COVID.
Yes.
But he was going to a gym, as we discussed on the show. So,
Oh, yeah. So there's
that's a pretty germy place. But
that's why I keep saying everybody else is dangerous to me.
Yes, exactly. But the replay of Granite State of Mind coming up at 6 p.m. and then a replay of Retro Spectrum Radio with Paulie C coming up at 7 p.m. So you can hear the fun and shenanigans we got into on Friday night, Paul and I and our good friend Dan Randlett. And, of course, make sure you're back 7 a.m. for the morning show with Peter White. And that is it for us for now. If you missed anything, it'll be up in just a little bit, WMNHradio.org. We'll talk at y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.